This is the Good Government Show.
The downtown Appalachian communities, yes, they are a challenge. But again, it feels like they're an opportunity also to not only, tell a unique story, but also to bring a spark of energy and of life into these areas that have been for so long forgotten. In a way, I think it's also, we're fostering hope in these communities that need it very badly. We have to connect these outdoor recreation assets to downtown somehow. Good government is really facilitating a diverse and open conversation within the community where we're getting lots of viewpoints and getting lots of feedback on the way council or our local governing body are thinking about these things. You can run around and try to go enjoy the cool places, or you can stay here and make this a cool place. That was really the dichotomy in my mind.
Downtown redevelopment. It's an issue many cities are struggling to do. In Appalachian coal country, the challenges are huge, but there is progress. Welcome to the Good Government Show. I'm Dave Martin. Welcome to the Good Government Show. I'm Dave Martin. First, help us share the message of good government by liking us and sharing us where we are on Facebook, X, YouTube, Instagram, and Blue Sky. Please share our show with your friends and review us where you're listening and join our Good Government Show community. Check out our website for the link. Earlier this year, I was invited to a conference called Building Resilient Economies in Coal Communities. As all of you regular listeners know, I'm intrigued by West Virginia and Appalachia, and I jumped at the chance to hear about the progress being made there. Earlier, I talked with Cora Nagy about the impact of tourism in the region. We talked about the newest national park, that's the New River Gorge, kayaking and rafting, and ATV trails. Tourism really is having an impact. But on this show, I got to sit down and talk with Gabe Pena. He's a member of the Fayetteville, West Virginia Town Council. He spoke about redeveloping downtowns throughout the region. We discussed some creative ideas like turning schools into apartments. Sure, it's being done in lots of places, but in some apartments, those old chalkboards are still up. Well, anyway, you'll hear about that. As he explains, revitalization is part of a comprehensive overall plan. As Gabe says, sometimes selling residents on investing in old buildings can be hard, but he says it's vital to creating a community. So that conversation is coming up right after this. What if World War I never happened? What if these three royal cousins, King George of England, Kaiser Wilhelm of Germany, and Tsar Nicholas of Russia, chose peace over pride? Good Government Show executive producer Jim Ludlow has just released a new book. The Royal Cousins is a gripping alternate history that imagines how diplomacy and courage could have stopped a war that took 22 million lives. If only they used the principles of good government. Download The Royal Cousins now on Kindle. It's powerful, timely, and just 99 cents. And all the proceeds support our work here on The Good Government Show. Just search The Royal Cousins on Amazon today. Welcome to The Good Government Show. I'm happy to have with me Gabe Pena. He is a city council member for Fayetteville, West Virginia, but he is also with the West Virginia Community Development Hub. So you wear two hats?
Yes, sir.
And both hats are all about good government.
They are about good community engagement.
Good community engagement.
To facilitate buy-in and local participation in municipal government.
So the reason why we're talking today is there was a forum here at the National Association of Counties for building resilient economies in coal communities. And it was a forum that you were a part of, and you spoke about downtown revitalization.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I've spent a little bit of time in coal communities, and most of them have a downtown that is either abandoned or at best a shadow of its former self. Mm-hmm. So this is a regional problem. Mm-hmm. And you solved it. How have you done it?
I don't know about solved it, but definitely pointed to some high points or some assets that almost all these communities have, and one of those would be historic structures, right? Beautiful structures, cut stone, acoustic ceilings, high ceilings, structures that they just don't build them like they used to. And so looking at those as not only an opportunity to tell a story about how things used to be, but also to create spaces where entrepreneurs can come in and have like a unique showing or a unique storefront, something that really contributes to their development as a business, and does bring a distinction to these communities that not all suburban areas or urban areas really can provide that same kind of experience. So I think the downtown Appalachian communities, yes, they are a challenge, but again, it feels like they're an opportunity also to not only, tell a unique story, but to also to bring a spark of energy and of life into these areas that have been for so long forgotten. So in a way, I think it's also, we're fostering hope in these communities that need it very badly.
Well, okay, let's talk a little bit about the hope that has been abandoned, because I've been in some of these communities and there's no there.
It's tough.
There's a downtown that's a shadow of what it was, largely abandoned. How do you bring people back into downtown?
I mean, a number of strategies that are being used that we learned about today: remote worker location programs, right, which does depend on broadband infrastructure. And we've seen the building equity, advancing digital access, the BEAD program. West Virginia is getting $2 billion for that kind of program, really to bring that infrastructure that will help with remote work. Capitalizing on the outdoor recreation assets. Right, a lot of these communities are adjacent to beautiful waterways, to beautiful forests, wilderness in general, and
I've talked with different people in Virginia and West Virginia. We've talked about ATV trails. We talked about the Hatfield and McCoy trails in West Virginia. We've talked about kayaking and river rafting and canoeing and stuff on the rivers. So that's tourism is certainly a part of that. Does that bring people downtown, or doesn't that really kind of leave them out on the river or the trail?
You make a very good point that we have to connect these outdoor recreation assets to downtown somehow. And so whether that be we are bringing a trailhead right into downtown, or we want to make sure that there are the kind of zoning laws allowed so that short-term rentals can be on the second floor of a building, and on the first floor there can be retail space. We definitely have work to do at the community level to make sure that as these outdoor recreation assets are developed, whether it be trails, trailheads, public bathrooms, that we're mirroring those efforts in downtown. So whether it be trying to attract a coffee shop, or a mechanic that can help fix the ATVs, these are part of the overall strategy to revitalize these downtowns. And so historic assets can be part of that. But we do have the challenge of making sure that a lot of the environmental contaminants that we see in these buildings are addressed. So lead and asbestos are the big ones. And then we also have. Is
it worth it though? I mean, you've got these buildings that were built, in the 20s and 30s and older. You gotta. I understand they look pretty, but is this a good use of government dollars to rebuild a building that was built in the 1920s?
Well, some of the building materials, for example.
Yes.
In the old historic Fayetteville High School.
Yes.
That stone is cut, by Italian stonemasons of Nuttall sandstone, which is prime quality sandstone. From what I'm told by the rock climbers in our communities, that sandstone is just perfect for rock climbing.
Okay.
And not only is it perfect for rock climbing, apparently it's awesome for building
schools
and stone walls in our town. And again, it tells that story of Italian stonemasons came to Fayette County, West Virginia at the turn of the century to find economic opportunity. Like so many folks are today. So I think it not only is it worth it, but it also, we can remove the asbestos, we can remove the lead, create jobs doing that.
Yeah.
But then also we preserve this important part of our history. Now that's Fayetteville. That's Fayetteville.
All right. Well, hang on in Fayetteville. It sounds like you have converted a school.
We have converted part of us. Yes, we had two. Okay. We have 3 schools on our hands.
Yeah.
We've converted one into residential housing, which we do struggle with housing. I think the drawback of tourism is that it also is a recruitment tool, and it can bring people into your communities where they're snatching up houses and driving up the cost. But we'll leave that for a second. So we do have we do had a housing challenge, and the redevelopment of one of the schools that the town of Fayetteville owned. We sold it. The developer turned it into 17 units.
How are the apartments?
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
They're beautiful. Now, I wouldn't call them affordable per se. It's really more middle income housing. But
does it still look like a school inside?
It still looks like a school. It still has the lockers inside. It still has the chalkboards in some of the rooms.
No kidding.
In order to get the historic tax credits, both state and federal, some of those elements had to stay in place. And so it does look like a old middle school from around the 1930s, but it's got much more energy efficient windows.
The revitalization of downtown is an issue that many cities and towns across the nation are dealing with. The shopping mall on the outside of town, or the shopping mall that served a couple of towns, and then the big box store on the other side of town that everybody went to, and they just sort of abandoned the downtown. How do you bring people back?
Well,
or is this what keeps you up at night?
I mean,
this
to a certain degree, it keeps me up at night. But I also think it takes time, right? This isn't going to happen overnight. This is a long haul type game. I think one example we've seen in Fayetteville, West Virginia, is, people who were tied to the outdoor recreation economy came in and opened a business because they saw a need, and then there was a snowball effect where other businesses also saw that there was starting to build a critical mass of people starting to come downtown for whatever reason. And then the coffee shop opened, and then the pizza shop opened, and then the sandwich shop opened. And then it's like, it was a really organic entrepreneurial ecosystem that I wouldn't say back in 1986 when Waterstone Outdoors opened, there was a government there that was trying to usher them in. They just did it because they saw the opportunity. Right. And that has turned into,
And how does government help the next guy?
We figure out ways to help grease the skids as far as historic revitalization or redevelopment, and to do the environmental site assessments.
Yep.
Like find funding to make sure that the asbestos and the lead is removed. White box these places, make sure they have the adequate infrastructure. If there needs to be some sort of grace period on their B&Os, like for the first 6 months that you're operating or that you're in construction, we're going to waive the business's operating taxes so that you can just continue focusing on building your business out. Those type of deals. Looking at those requirements for someone to open a business and helping to check off some of those boxes for the entrepreneur.
Any cool projects come to mind of buildings that have been reclaimed downtown that were turned into something?
In Fayetteville or elsewhere? Anywhere?
Yeah.
I'd say there's in Logan County, West Virginia, one of the areas that's been hard hit by the downturn of the coal industry, opioids, all of it. The Logan Medical Housing, I forget exactly what it's called, but they have one of the few rural residential surgery programs in Appalachia. I think maybe one of the only ones. But the folks the would-be surgeons who are coming to Logan County to take part in that program couldn't find a place to live.
Okay.
So the city of Logan bought this building up and have been working on redeveloping it into 11 units. And at the top of the list of folks for renting, the tenants will be the folks that are going through this rural surgery residency.
Well, as listeners of the show know, I went to Welsh in McDowell County, West Virginia, and they built a 16-unit apartment building for teachers.
Yeah.
And the idea was we put that in, and somebody's going to want a dry cleaner, and they're going to want a coffee shop, and it's fits and starts.
Sure.
But that's the idea. Is that what are there projects like this across the coal country?
Similar ones. Yeah. Again, I think and these projects have to be multifaceted, right? It can't necessarily be just redevelopment in and of itself. Right. Ideally, we're hitting on entrepreneurial development, redevelopment, housing, recovery. There's a recovery program happening in Fayette County where a gentleman who actually also owns a hydroponics operation is trying to find.
All right.
And he's in the process.
Well, he's got those tall buildings.
He's identified a structure,
the big ceiling,
a structure where on the floor he wants to put the hydroponic, and the ground floor he wants to put the hydroponic operation. On second, third floor, he wants to put housing for folks that are transitioning out of homelessness into secure, stable housing, and he wants to put those folks to work and down in the hydroponics operation. And so he's creating opportunities not only for them to work and get out of active addiction if that's what they're in, and get into active recovery while also building their skills and finding secure and stable housing. So, the downtown redevelopment, it has to be just one small part of a broader effort to really build more workforce opportunities.
And how does government get behind that?
Well, we start small,
right,
with planning. So many of these projects start with, here is the problem, here are some of the plans that we have. We could potentially take this structure or this piece of land and build something that touches on workforce development or redevelopment.
So you sit there and you go, okay, we've got a block of downtown. What can we do?
What can we do?
What belongs here?
How many birds can we hit with one stone?
Okay.
As we try to address these challenges facing these rural communities. And so another good example, in Fayette County, West Virginia, it was an 82-acre farm that had been sitting fallow for 15, 16 years, doing absolutely nothing. The buildings falling into themselves. the Fayette County Farmland Protection Board had some money setting aside from all of the excise taxes that had come to them with property transfers. Good policy.
Right.
And they were able to take that money and go to auction and buy that farm and then turn it into a business incubator for agricultural entrepreneurs. And so trying to grow the local food economy along with redeveloping this property to where it was something that was really meeting the needs of the community. Food access is an issue in these areas also. Access to just whole foods is something we all struggle with. And so, by taking this piece of property,
especially
and
the
turning it into
restaurant in town is a McDonald's.
Or Dollar General.
Something like that.
Yeah. Trying to figure out ways to increase access to healthy foods while also supporting those entrepreneurs who are the ones, those ag entrepreneurs who are going to be growing that food for the next, hopefully, many years.
A lot of these rural communities in Appalachia were coal towns, and the coal company came in and they built the housing and they built the infrastructure and they built the downtown and they built the coal company store. And I've seen these. Is there success in turning the old company store into a more vital store today?
Those ones are tough, right? I mean, there's definitely is.
They were big. They were in the center of town because that's where everybody went.
There's
correct?
a triage with these buildings also, right?
Yeah.
If they haven't had the roof on there, if the roof's been leaking for too many years, then then your
time to take
your structural components are going to be gone. Yes, we have lost a lot of good historic structures for sure. When the town of Fayetteville got the old, Fayetteville High School built in 1923, one of the first things we did was put a roof on it, and then start remediating for black mold.
Okay.
And we are still paying for that remediation effort, just to essentially to keep.
But there must be people who argue this is a waste of money.
Sure, but there are also donors who are donating to the town of Fayetteville's Historic Preservation Fund that want to make sure to see that building becomes something and doesn't go. I mean, because we looked at tearing that building down.
Yeah.
And it was a $400,000 bill just to tear it down, just to haul it off. And so, we're about $461,000 into remediating it. But also, once we were able to turn that building into from a school building where it was assessed for $0 to a hotel, a boutique hotel, where it's going to be assessed closer to $400,000. Then we should be generating from that revenue that goes into our TIF district $11 million over 30 years. So yes, I know we've been holding on and investing in something that feels like we're throwing money down a hole.
Yeah.
But if we hadn't been doing that, we wouldn't have the opportunity to capitalize on it the way we plan to do so moving forward.
Is it hard to sell that, as someone who's on the city council? Hey, we're going to spend a lot of your money right now, but don't worry. In a few years, you're going to get it all back. Is that a hard sell?
I don't think so. Well, I mean, again, it's all these cases are different. But I think it was easy to see and kind of just feel the pulse that this is an important structure to this community, right? The whole consolidation conversation. You lose your high school, you lose your middle school, you lose your elementary, and now we're going to the next town over. We're sending our kids to the next town over to go to school. We still have the high school here, but it's closed. So it's like, well, it's closed, but demolishing it would be a moral issue for a lot of the community members who went there. The senior citizens, the 65 and over, who went there, as elementary school kids. So it's from a standpoint of like politics, it's not that difficult of a sell. It's like, this is important to the fabric of this community, and I'm going to do everything I can to see that this is turned into something that becomes an asset for this community.
How hard is it to take a downtown that's essentially empty or partially empty and convince people to come downtown when they have alternatives? They can go to the big box store down the street. They can shop online. And how do you justify that expense as a government?
It's tough. I mean, I think people have to understand what they're putting their money towards.
Yeah.
They have to understand
this historic building means something.
We see the buy small Saturday now, and that ethos of invest your money in this small downtown. It goes further. It creates jobs in downtown. It doesn't just get lost in the morass that is Amazon. Like
okay.
Even though they are sponsoring our show here, it's these rural communities. This is they depend on these dollars. I travel around the state a lot, going to different meetings and trying to help communities generate buy-in Williamson, Oceana, Logan, Madison, these areas that are trying to revitalize their downtown. And every time I go to these downtowns, even if I'm just buying a few candy bars more than I need in the gas station, I'm trying to buy lunch, buy something, pump some money.
I've had lunch at the little cafe in downtown Madison a couple of times.
Yeah, dump some money in these places because it's like, this is what's going to help keep these businesses around. And again, hopefully creating some sort of some positive momentum, a positive feedback loop that they can support a worker who wants to open their own restaurant, and they can go somewhere else downtown, or even if they start with a food truck.
Is it money well spent?
I think so, because it's like, we're trying to let these people know that they're not forgotten, that we still see value in the work that they're doing and what they're bringing to the table, especially in these rural communities that have suffered so much.
All right, well, we're going to get your philosophy on government, and that's going to come up after this.
Okay.
The Good Government Show is sponsored by Our. That's OUR for Our Community. Get involved. We hear that all the time from government leaders. Our co-brands with your government's name and logo. Your staff and the people you serve are connected and part of your community. From any device, your members provide reliable data and meaningful feedback. Ask a question like, do we want more parkland or better homeless services? More engaged conversations come through the Our app. Visit Ourco, that's OURCO.com, and book a demonstration.
These are difficult times, and if you believe in justice, progress, and democracy, the news you read and listen to can be pretty depressing. And that's why there's a new podcast called Good News for Lefties and America. Every day it features positive news stories for progressive listeners. Because no matter how disturbing the headlines might be, there's always hope we can build on for a better tomorrow. Good News for Lefties and America. Listen on this platform at goodnewsforlefties.com or wherever podcasts are heard.
So here we go. This is our Good Government Show questionnaire. We ask everyone this of every elected official we talk to try to get their feeling on what they really think about government.
Okay.
How long have you been on the city council?
This is my second term, 4-year term. So I'm going on 6 years now.
6 years. In 6 years, what have you learned to define good government?
What to define good government? Well,
yes.
It's that
this is the easy question.
We are representatives of the people, and we want to hear your thoughts. We have meetings. We have 2 meetings a month, the first and third Thursday of the month, and generally there are about 5 people that show up. Now, we're rural Southern West Virginia, population 2,800. And when we do Zoom, we allow our meetings to be broadcast via Zoom. But still, whenever we say there's a trail going in, or we envision a trail going in over here, it's only then that we talk about a specific neighborhood that someone shows up upset. We have been talking about these things. We are talking about these things. We want you all to be part of these conversations, not just when you're upset about something. We'd like to hear your feedback. So in my opinion, good government is really facilitating a diverse and open conversation within the community where we're getting lots of viewpoints and getting lots of feedback on the way council or our local governing body are thinking about these things.
If people aren't getting good government, if they don't like what they see, what should they do?
Well, first, raise your voice. Second, run for office.
Is that what got you in?
Sorta.
Yeah. Sorta?
Sorta.
There seems like there's more to that story.
Well, I worked for the Fayette County Commission since starting in 2014, and I ran for office in 2019 because of all the things that I had learned about the way Fayetteville could be doing things a little bit more effectively, accessing federal funding, accessing state funding, just how they could be taking advantage of the assets they have in a more effective way. And I feel the same way about our Fayette County Commission currently. And we'll get there.
Okay.
We'll start with town council first.
All right. The Good Government Show is the voice of public service. What drew you to public service?
I just knew that I had a knack for finding funding, whether it be philanthropic, state, or federal, and that was key to these rural Southern West Virginia communities, particularly Fayetteville, to be able to build the kind of place where people would want to stay. Fayetteville is kind of the exception to the rule, where it feels like in Southern West, I know in West Virginia we are losing population, but Fayetteville, with everything we have to offer, our dining destination, our outdoor recreation amenities, our outdoor recreation infrastructure, people are coming to this community and want to be here and want to stay there rather. but we have work to do to make sure that it continues to be a place that not only fosters like civic engagement and local people are able to take advantage of the outdoor recreation assets, but also a place where, it's quiet and quaint and a place where people want to raise their family.
Who inspires you? Do you have a political hero?
Do I have a political hero? I think I just had some great leaders at the local level. One of our county commissioners, Matt Wender, just took me under his wing, took me to a lot of community meetings when people were mad and when they were mad at the county commission. And he stood up there and he took it and he owned some of the mistakes that they may have made.
And you still said, I want to do that.
Well, he just came out on top. He came out better. It's like, people appreciated that he was honest about, this is the position of the county commission. This is my position. And I understand that you're upset about it, but this is why it's important to me. And then, school consolidation was the issue.
Well, that's a contentious issue.
It get very contentious, but then going and advocating for this school to stay open and why it made sense for this school to close, and seeing him get hammered and still coming out on top, able to shake hands and look a constituent in the eye, I just thought that was important, and it was something that I aspired to.
6 years on city council. Mm-hmm. What have you learned about government you wish other people knew about government?
Oh, man.
Much.
Yeah, a lot. But also it's just the accessibility of I don't know. I'm available. If you have an issue, call me, and I'd love to talk about it. And I want to see people engage in these conversations. Does it take
you a while to get out of the grocery store or the hardware store?
It can. There are times when it does, and my kids, they roll their eyes. They know whenever they go with me anywhere, there's a chance. They tell me ahead of time.
Dad, can we go?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I really do enjoy talking to people about issues that that are important to them, and I might not. There are certain issues within town council that I really am passionate about. Redevelopment, recreational infrastructure development, engaging our young folks. But I'm not as interested in street maintenance. I know it's important. I know it's important. Stormwater management, that has become important to me more recently.
Yes.
But these were committees that I wasn't on. They put me on things. Initially with council, they put me on dilapidated buildings and planning and zoning. And I'm good at those things.
Okay.
But then whenever we had to start switching and I had to go to other areas and learn about stormwater management and stormwater infrastructure.
You're going to be like the sanitation ace in a couple of years, right?
People that are passionate about that and have, more experience with it, and they'll come to me and talk to me about, hey, your stormwater management project is coming through my property in this way. Here are my concerns. Here are my thoughts. Love to hear it. Let's talk more about it.
What's the best part about being a city councilman in Fayetteville?
The best part, well, it's a small town, and it's a double-edged sword. Like you said, I go to the grocery store and somebody I have no idea who they are, and they come up to me, Mr. Pena, and
so this is the hardest part of the job.
It's both. Yeah. It's the hardest, and it's because sometimes they do come up with questions that I don't have an answer to, and I need to let you know that I don't have an answer to that question, but I will look into it. And that's hard at times. It's like, you're right, I should be paying attention to this. And it's a bit of a, it's a humbling moment. So being humbled by constituents can be difficult for sure.
Did you always see yourself getting into public service?
No.
No?
No.
No?
No.
You weren't president of your senior class? Nothing like that?
I was in National Honor Society for a second, but honestly.
What semester you did your homework?
I mean, I was a good student. I was always a good student.
Okay.
But, Fayetteville, West Virginia, home of America's best whitewater. A lot of the folks there, the guiding community, the river community, during the summertime, they guide on the New River. Come fall, they guide on the Gauley River, and then they head out west come winter to go to Alta, to Copper Can, all these outstanding locations. And I was planning to go, and do this thing, summertime in Fayetteville, winter over in Colorado. This can be great. But then it kind of dawned on me, it's like all these people are leaving and there's nobody here to speak up for the access to outdoor recreation right in downtown Fayetteville. And if there's not anybody here that's trying to articulate the things that are important to the outdoor recreation community, then it's not going to happen. And so if you can run around and try to go enjoy the cool places, or you can stay here and make this a cool place. That was really the dichotomy in my mind.
We haven't really talked about this, but you are Fayetteville, West Virginia is borders the New River Gorge, the nation's newest national park.
Yes, sir.
What do you do for fun in the park? Do you get out? Are you a raft guy? Are you a whitewater guy? What do you do?
I enjoy the river immensely. Now, a lot of folks enjoy it because it's like high intensity, and you can run the river anywhere from -2 feet to 14, 15 feet. My claim to fame is I went down the New River Gorge on a boogie board at 10 feet. And I was beat by the end of the day. I was running from rapids, not going through them.
On a boogie board.
On a boogie board. It's called a rip board.
Let's stop right here for a moment. What made you think this was a good idea?
Well, as a river guide, I was on the river 4 or 5 days a week. Yeah. I know the rapids. I know the currents. I know where they go. And for river boarding in general, whether it's river surfing or getting on a boogie board and going down, it's still a thing, but there was a point in time there where it was a big thing. Oh, all right. It was like, oh yeah, we saw all sorts of stand-up paddleboard. I had no idea that was a thing. We saw when stand-up paddleboard started becoming real popular. Right. That's when it was like, well, let's see who can take a stand-up paddleboard down the New River Gorge. And I was like, well, I think I can take a boogie board down the New River Gorge. And some folks still do it on the Gauley River. It's definitely intense. Okay. Yeah, I would think. But it's also doable if you know where the currents are going and you know what to avoid. Through the rapids, over the drops. You really do punch right through them on a boogie board, whereas I bet. A raft kind of like, you hit the wave and you get the nice big hits. But all that being said, now that I have 2 daughters and I'm a little older, one of my favorite things to do when the water is low and slow. Yes. Just enjoy pulling over, looking at the rapids. All right. Maybe cast a line. Okay. Sit on a rock for a while, warm up, and just enjoy the river and just being out there in the wilderness. Well, like I said, I've been to the New River Gorge. I did the drive tour and I took a little hike into the thing, and it's impressive. It's great. It's beautiful, and it's a great use of coal country to turn it into something else. Yeah. So this is the Good Government Show. We always end on a good government project. Tell me about something that you've done, and we were talking about, downtown revitalization, that you're really proud of. The coal communities of Montgomery and Smithers have really, really struggled. We have a lot of work to do still in these areas. But one of the areas where I've been able to help them out, they had a vision for a trail. It's not built yet, but they had a vision that connected these two communities. Historically, they were adversarial, If Montgomery's got it, Smithers wants it. Yeah. Smithers wants it, Montgomery can't have it, type deal. And it's when WVU Tech, which was located in Montgomery for 125 years, left and relocated to Beckley, West Virginia, Montgomery and Smithers had to figure out ways to work together. And one of the projects that articulated to me before all that went down was that trail. And so I was able to contact the Office of Sustainable Development in the EPA and get a mini grant for a planning initiative where they got together as community members and envisioned what this trail would look like, and how it could tie the community together, how we could tear down some dilapidated buildings around the proposed trail area. And so we've been able to amass some brownfields funding, some ARC planning monies to really articulate and plan out this trail. And in 2022, I want to say, the city of Smithers and Montgomery together were able to get a $4.2 million congressional earmark to build this trail system. So it's a little ways off still, but it is something that really is going to help them capitalize on their natural amenities, because the trail follows by the Kanawha River. And it's also, a corridor that is going to help tie people to downtown Smithers. And again, help these people take advantage of the outdoor recreation economy and revitalize their community. We got a lot of work to do still, but that's an area where they really... That does sound like a good use of government dollars. They need some an influx of life, a spark revitalization that feels like this trail system, the River Cities Trail, could really help bring some more life to these communities. Fayetteville needs help, but not in the same way Montgomery and Smithers need help. These areas have really been hard hit. Well, you must be a bit of an example, because with the New River Gorge National Park opening,
that it's changed Fayetteville, and other communities must be looking to you to say, oh, that's how they did it.
Well, Fayetteville,
right?
Again, it's always had people coming through, again, just because it's right there on the rim of the gorge.
Yeah.
It's like right smack in the epicenter of New River country, whitewater, climbing, these things, birding, biking, hiking. Montgomery and Smither can't say the same thing. They're a little further away, and so
we're going to build a trail. We're going to revitalize the downtown, and we're going to do it regionally.
We're going to try to connect that trail to the downtown entrepreneurs that are trying to give it a go in Montgomery, where we've been trying to tear down the bad, dilapidated buildings and save the historic ones.
Well, this is a problem across the nation, and I'm sure especially hard hit in coal communities is rebuilding a downtown that once was and needs help. So glad to see that you're on top of it. Gabe Pena, a city councilman from Fayetteville, West Virginia. Thanks for talking downtown revitalization.
Thank you, Dave.
After you get done with this episode, hear more good government stories with our friends at How to Really Run a City. Former mayors Kasim Reed of Atlanta and Michael Nutter of Philadelphia, and their co-host, journalist and author Larry Platt, talk with guests and other mayors about how to really get stuff done in cities around the nation. Check them out where you're listening now or through their nonprofit news site, thephiladelphiacitizen.org/podcasts. What's so good to hear is there's activity. People like Fayetteville, West Virginia Councilman Gabe Pena is just one of the government leaders doing something. He started in his town, but through his committee, he's branching out and working with other cities in what was coal country. A lot of change needs to happen, and Gabe Pena is working on it, and that's good government. Well, that's our show. Please like us and share us with your friends and review us right here where you're listening. And check out our website, goodgovernmentshow.com, for extras. Help us keep telling stories of good government in action everywhere. Join us again for another episode right here. I'm Dave Martin, and this is The Good Government Show. The Good Government Show is a Valley Park production. Jim Ludlow, Dave Martin, that's me, and David Snyder are the executive producers. Our show is edited and produced by Jason Stershic. Please subscribe, then share us, and like us and review us. That's the best way to make sure we're able to keep telling these stories of our government working for all of us. Then listen to the next episode of The Good Government Show.